We are. Oh no, I messed the layout up. Because the Discord thing is over the episode number. Damn it. All right, here we go. Much better. Oh, Lion, thanks for joining. This totally isn't. Is that nepotism? Whatever. No, that's family shit. God, talk, idiot, please. All right, everyone, welcome to the ranting hour, where I'm a mess, and we talk for an hour, hopefully, because I'm tired. Because I don't make any damn videos anymore, aside from runs and bitching about current Shinryus. We go where the wind takes us, although I'm feeling a little more ranty today, so expect that. I was asking around the channel earlier today. Y'all got anything? Because this morning I woke up, I'm like, I don't know, y'all. But things happened today, and now I have things to talk about. So, Nidre and that's funny. Both of you guys made power moves right before the stream started. That's funny. I'm with Nidre, and I'm with Multiracial Lion. Shout out to both these idiots. Nidre has FFOO Tip, a website I use frequently because it's a very good website. And Multiracial Lion has his YouTube channel. He hit 100 subs. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Was it?
Yes.
Yes, and he's on the grind at 10,000. So shout out to him. Go look his channel up. I made the mistake of not plugging it in the channel because we were talking about other things in the pre-show that is not aired. So my bad, bro.
Before we move on from introducing Multiracial Lion, I just saw in this other channel a screenshot of Multiracial Lion talking in Reddit on a thread where people are doom posting, and he said, "Nope, this game is going to die within 6 months, guaranteed, just like it did 2 years ago." Which is a great comment, and it has -7 points on Reddit.
Because
so
the people on
what
the
a legend
Reddit are fucking stupid.
-7, and I'm going for -10,000.
Yeah, he's going for the big leagues. He made fun of the 2-year-old doomers, some of which are in that thread, by the way. Some of those same people that were posting the threads 2 years ago are still in that thread. I remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Anyways, back on the intro. If you're watching live, catching the VOD, go ahead and like the video. It helps out a ton. And if you are watching the VOD, go ahead and leave a comment. If you're here, live chatting helps as well. I have put the stream chat back on, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Still editing layout feedback is always welcome. You know, I guys always respond to you. If you want to hit us up, if you want to join the best Dissidia Discord server, TCC's Discord, just don't bring any cringe in there because you're not going to be welcome. Give big ups to Mark. I wouldn't have stuck to YouTube without him, so go support them. Mino also pulls up on the podcast every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and they talk about other stuff. We like promoting each other because we're cool people. And if you want to become a member, $1, you can support my channel, although I don't need the money, but I like money. You get emotes, and I'll always respond to your comments. You can also throw a super chat my way if you want to catch my attention, because I see y'all chatting and I try and read some of the stuff, but sometimes it goes a little too fast. But money talks. Like I said, I'm welcomed by Multiracial Lion. Welcome to the 100 sub club as of a bit ago. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Pretty well, actually. I finally managed to escape Final Fantasy 14, so I'm trying to catch up on content.
Right. At least you can log in. I have tried to log in once a day, and it errors out once I go halfway through the 4,000 queue, and I'm gone. I'm like, nope. We're getting 7 free days, and I will try again in 7 days.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
BC will say anything for $20. Yeah, that's a whole half a mog. Premium mog pass, bro. I'm about to be swimming. I said I made a dick comment on stream, and I can get some Ultima cores. You kidding me? That's a tremendous quality of life. Hope all is well, Goose. Shout out to Goose. Reverse neck lord, if you not know about Nidre. How you doing?
doing good. Yeah, life, you know. This video game kind of entering some too crappy eras right now, but I guess we'll talk about that a little bit more.
We will
when we get into the real meat of things. So yeah, doing well.
Good. I forgot to say, I'm always calling out people, hoping they start making content. People picking up the mantle again. Live stream, Blart, Zoe, Raw Life, good stream every Monday. And then I wasn't on Cross's live. I wasn't on Cross 13's live stream yesterday, but I was in the chat giving him a really hard time. I was giving everybody a hard time in there. But that was very funny, and I'm going to be on there. I think next week he hit me up, so I'll be posting a link. Y'all make sure to subscribe to Cross. We're trying to get this man to 500 and eventually 1,000 because he puts out good runs and stuff. So shout out to him. How does it feel to be close to garbage time? I'm just apathetic, man. I wanted
close to.
Yeah. Actually, we are in it now. Debatably, that's what they were talking about on Historia Crux. That's Cross's show. They were talking about, are we in garbage time or not? I'm like, yeah, this Kain fight, like we could fuck around with this fight, and it rolled over. But so I wanted to start off by one of the things that made me angry in the past week, and it wasn't tier 6 that made me angry, but it was the Hoarders playing tier 6 that made me angry. And oh lord, did I see a number of people. And if you get caught in the crossfire, like if you're cool people, like that, I understand. And there's this cool guy. I was just watching his video earlier. Clay linked it in the Dystopia server, and I forgot his name. But he's the guy who did the X-Death, Shulk, and Orin run. That guy is not a hoarder. That is a guy doing something cool. And shout out to that guy, because that run is immaculate, even though it took like 40 minutes. That was dope as hell.
I think his YouTube is DFFO Caveman.
Okay, I almost called him Puppet, but that sounded wrong. DFFO Caveman, yeah. I'm going to plug him in a community post. Clay did it earlier, because shout out to that dude. That is amazing. That's what I like to see. However, as soon as that post popped up, there were people with no greens who were struggling through tier 6, one of the hardest known stages for a very long time. I don't want to green anybody. I don't want to pull. I don't want to lose my hundreds of thousands of gems. I'm about to subject myself to that. Now, if you're doing it because it works out of desperation, or you can do it, cool. But the Hoarders just drove me insane this week. I think Poto Cedar CCC mods. I think he's getting caught into the fire of this. Some girl also getting caught under fire here. At least some girl, like Ace was the only acceptable like non-BT plus option in the stage because Ace is a god. But dear God, like I don't. And I have the segue to this for the way JP's fucking going right now. Like, where are your greens? Like, if someone told me I'm saving these greens for XXXXX, that's really naughty, by the way. That was a bad joke. Jesus Christ. Oh, that one stung. If you don't know what you're hoarding for, if you don't know what you're saving for, that's hoarding. If you don't want to do it without investing as a challenge, I think that's cope at this point. Because if you've been spending hours upon hours upon hours, I guess Blind Eye under fire for this too. No greens until jacked. He doesn't even know what he's saving for either. Y'all are about to enter a period of hilariously easy content and not even need to use these greens, maybe ever. Missing out on the peak periods of a lot of stuff. And then it's looking like we're getting another Shinryu, a roster reset Shinryu, because Cam fucked the balance with FR and stuff. Y'all can't hoard for FR, because you get one. Y'all are probably all pulling for Kane's BT and Cam's FR, so you can derp through stages. You're all going to be doing the same thing, and you're going to have more gems than ever. And then the game's going to shut down one day, and you're going to have not enough gems. You're going to look like a real dumbass for not playing the game. And, I don't know, man. If there was ever a thing to hoard for, it would be like fucking tier 6 and Shiva. But that's how I know some of y'all are like diseased hoarders. Because if you're trying to do minimal investments on the legit hard fights, for what? I don't understand. Like, do a challenge run afterwards. But if you're suffering, I mean, it's over now. So whatever. Tier 6 is gone. Like, that's like I got a lot of joy. It's slightly unrelated. I got joy from doing tier 6 because I felt like I had the best units for it, obviously, because I thought ahead. But at the same time, you know, like, stages fighting back, I missed that. And we got a glimpse of that in the beginning of Shinryu before Cam fucked the balance. And so if you watch my my Ursula Lost Chapter Shinryu, I was kind of bitching in that video too. Don't tell me I'm bitching. I'm the only one who's going to say I'm bitching first off. But I think we brought it up last week that Cam kind of threw the FR stuff out the window by just letting you get up to like 800%. And my conundrum currently is that I spent a lot of resources on Kain and I spent a lot of resources on Tidus. And now I want to use those people I spent a lot of resources on. The issue now is that it doesn't feel rewarding to use the people I spent those resources on because I was trying to liken this to a difference between a non-BT run currently and a BT run. And this is outside of Transcendence, just normally. Like, and back me up, guys. Feel free to chime in anywhere, guys. Like if you take away the BT in a run, you might feel a little bit more need to optimize your DPS, and you don't feel like too big of a gap. Like if you like triple green it, obviously you can just steamroll stuff, but like it's still accessible. But the difference between non-FR and FR and JP is like, and this is excluding Cam friends, by the way, because I was watching BL's video earlier because he did I think it was no, it was Mog, Locke, and a third versus the Ursula fight, and then he got the boss to like 80%, and then it did a BT phase with launching and Locke's BT phase and launching and Cam in the party, etc. And he went from like 80 to like 30% of the boss. And when we first got Shinryu, I liked that because it was encouraging like phases, timing yourself. But now like we had the player expression, right? With like, oh, we can optimize Cam's FR. We can optimize Kain's FR. We can optimize Crow's FR. We can optimize Braska's FR. But now you can just go full brain dead with Cam. And I understand. And somebody commented on my video. They didn't insult me, which is why I'm not going to insult them back. But they were like, just don't use FR. And then the issue right now is that it doesn't quite feel rewarding to not do that, because you have it's like an extra 20 minutes on your run to basically prove nothing. And it's the balance sort of thing. You guys see what I'm saying? Like you could either go nuts with an FR like I've been doing with Tidus and Kain, etc., and dusting the fight, because I'm currently unsure how the balance is going to play out, and I'm kind of hedging myself. But if I decide not to go for FR and do those crazy things, then the battle's just going to take longer. But Ursula's fight, Lion, did you do Ursula's fight? And DJ, did you guys do it yet?
I have not. I'm in the process of building her as we speak.
Right. Nidra, did you do the fight yet?
I just heard that it was like super easy, and then I was like, my motivation to do it was pretty low.
Yeah, that's
how I could just walk in and not have much difficulty. Then like, what's the rush? I'll just finish it. We got what, 10 days still. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And I went to it, and I'm like, okay, I could do like a Zac run or a Keep My Brave run with like RCL and silence them, dispel them. But the bosses don't really fight back, and half of the issue is in the first half of the month, like the Kain boss, the Crowd boss didn't really have mechanics. So Braska's final Aeon, the 6-man, if you didn't cam it had mechanics you had to work around. And then Odin had that too. But it's just the gap. The gap is what's killing me lately.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking of a new theory right now, and maybe this doesn't hold true, but I kind of think like what somewhat times happens is like the devs make a few fights with good mechanics, then the other group of devs kind of, who are not talking so much with the other devs, make like some busted ass character, and then they all get together, they're like, oh crap, like the game's balance is busted now. So all the guys who are in charge of doing the mechanics are like, well, I guess we'll just pack it up till the next time we do a roster reset. And like, I feel like that's kind of what happened with Lufenia Plus. And I feel like that's like what's beginning to happen with Shinryu after that first month. Yeah. It's like, they've thrown the balance out of whack, and like they're like, okay, well, the next time we have a chance to declare bankruptcy on the power creep we've made is anniversary. So
declare bankruptcy on the power creep.
I think you gotta wait at least a year for that, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to see how they're going to dig themselves out of this hole, because FR, like, doing 800% more, well, not 800% more total, but across the phase, you're doing, let's say 400%, 500% more damage uncapped. How do you dig yourself out of that hole? I mean, the answer is probably even bigger numbers, but...
just add more HP, it's fine.
Exactly. I mean... This is another thing that people were kind of debating about. Like, you'd see a lot of people complain about Lufenia Plus. They would say, oh, the restrictions are too high. I can't bring all these characters I want to bring. I have to build a team around defense down, attack up, that you bring up all the time in videos about, people have been sleeping on defense ignore, defense down, etc., etc.
Or just bringing sufficient attack along with
exactly more attack. Yeah. It's not just about brave up. It's not just about HP up. You mentioned this in your Lena video just what was that? It came out today, I think.
Yeah, she doesn't give much attack up. So if you got brave damage, but if you don't have any like defense down or additional attack up beside it, you're gonna see not very good. It's the multipliers. If you multiply 2 times 3, it's not gonna be as big as like 10 times 3.
Exactly.
You need a good base.
Exactly. Yeah, and so people were unhappy with that way of making Lufenia difficult, the top level content difficult. So what did the devs do in Shinryu? They just made everybody have huge HP, and that just has different issues. So there's really no shortcut around having a balanced fight with good mechanics. They've tried to make clever orbs. They've tried to make clever force mechanics to make it easier on themselves.
Odin had mechanics.
Right.
That was good.
Right. Exactly. Odin had mechanics.
That Cam existed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he just... this is something that Mino says all the time, and I think it's a great point, is that if you have enough damage, you can kind of skip the mechanics, right? You don't have to worry. You just bust through them real quick. I think that's what a lot of people did on that front.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing to do either. But again, the problem is the gap. The gap between a Tidus Kain in the Year cam run versus a 30-minute counters with Galuf and Porum's follow-ups and Garnet taking like 30, 40 minutes.
Alpha Nod, HP poisons.
Yeah. And then it becomes like, I could achieve this, but if I have the guns, do I really want to spend all that time for like just to feel better? And with BT and no BT, like the gap wasn't that big. Like I think there was a lower floor for how long it took. Like, okay, you could triple BT it and it wouldn't take very long, but like the ceiling, like, okay, if I do want to run no BT, like it'll still maybe like take me like 20 minutes, 30 if it's Shiva, which is ass, but there's like notorious run extenders that I could shave off to get rid of that. And I did an no BT run of Kain's fight, and that didn't feel too bad, but the difference now is I think a little bit too big. So it's on both ends. There's Cam and just FR in general, which is going nuts above. It's uncapped, which is nuts. There's one side of the problem. And the other side of the problem is that the bosses aren't stopping us from going nuts. So like the Ursula fight has this thresholds, and they do a brave shave on you, and they apply a speed down debuff. That's it. I mean, like they could stop you mid BT phase. I remember Zach on Discord threw out the idea that maybe they could just add in HP gates. I think we mentioned this last stream, to where if you're going nuts in the BT phase, it literally walls you from doing damage until they get a turn after that. Like there's stuff they could do. They could cap. They uncapped the FR gauge, didn't they recently?
Yes, they made it to where now it's got a 10-digit cap. So your theoretical damage cap is, I think, 10 billion damage.
Yeah, so they up the cap instead of... I mean, ideally, they'd add in some sort of FR gauge reduction. I mean, we have HP damage reduction now, so the next logical step is FR gauge reduction, huh?
Or something that, like, saps yours and gives it to them. Something like that.
The ideal state of the game is where... of course they're going to want to encourage FR. Like, ideally, FR runs, in my ideal world, FR runs would last, like, 5 to 10 minutes, and non-FR runs would last, like, 20 max, depending on, like, how slow your people are. But the gap is just too huge, and they had to spike the HP to make a gap. So I think, I said this in my Ursula video, but it feels like we're probably going to get a hard pivot at Anniversary because we're getting a bunch of new stuff. No new returning BTs. C90 will probably be done. So something's going to change around there. So I'd rather, if this was GL, I'd probably be playing differently because I know what's ahead. But JP, I don't want to take any risks, and that too takes some of the fun out of it. So I'm in a position where I use a lot of resources, and I don't want to make the game. I want to use the things I pulled. That's something that really doesn't feel great. If something's good and it trivializes stuff, but it's just a balancing thing. It's back and forth. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Go ahead.
No,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that the kind of one of the issues here is you have like an FR, like in your case you have Kain FR, you have Tidus FR. Like, how many FRs are you gonna use in the fight, right? Like you only gonna use 2, and if you had to use 4 or 5 or 6 of them, then the fight would take 40 minutes. And not using an FR-less run would be impossible.
Yes, right? That's the other issue. And we are going to be at the point where they expect us to use multiple characters FRs, and that's when it'll be likely completely impossible to do non-FR runs.
Yeah, and I think I mean, people will really feel the crunch too if they're having, right now people in JP are surviving on the fact that, I can use Busted Cam's FR, Titus's FR.
Yeah, the friends.
I only have to pull one, or I could use a friend.
Yeah.
But in JP, if you're going to start needing them like every, to pull 4 or 5 times a month, then people are going to really start feel the pain. Which maybe that's what they want. I don't know.
I don't know either. And again, I think this is worth saying. We're speculating. We're discussing our opinions on the current state of things. Don't take this as gospel. Things are liable to change. I remember saying this right in the beginning, before we even got Cam, and I said, don't draw any conclusions now, because I'm sure a month or 2 from now, things are going to look radically different. And lo and behold, things are way different than they were. Also, I
mean, I just love that fact that I think Barret pointed out that, like, we had 2 bosses in Sice's Lufenia Plus, and together I think they had like 20 million HP, and now bosses regularly have 120, 150 million HP.
Yeah, there was a huge spike, and it just doesn't feel good to use older characters now. I mean, I was like, okay, I could use Zack here, but Zack's damage got crept like very quickly, and the bosses aren't putting up much of a fight aside from some occasional mechanics I can mitigate with LD. So like, why not just go full damage? What were you saying, Lion?
I think that it's really interesting. The last maybe month or 2 of regular Lufenia Plus, if you remember, what they did was they started in with stuff, and I think it was with the Kefka fight, where they had those mechanics where you couldn't just damage race it because it was not going to go well for you, because the bosses would turn around and blow you up.
Right, they have done this. They have done this.
Kefka, you had the fight with, I think it was Raigen's Intertwined Will with Cypher and Cerberus.
Yes, they attacked you on thresholds. They did this on Pandemonium. What are we talking about? This has been it wasn't the first Lufenia Plus.
And they completely backpedaled on it.
Odin did it too. If you came out of the BT phase and it was past a threshold, you get wiped.
I mean, the problem that they have now, though, is you don't have to come out of the BT phase.
Yeah.
You can very easily end something in a BT phase. So I think one easy way that they could get out of this is let them do the threshold attacks in BT phase.
Okay, so Ursula's fight did that. It's just
really?
The attack was fucking limp wristed, so it didn't do anything. Like I said, it was just a full brave save to the party, and they applied a speed down debuff.
That's it?
Yeah,
I don't care.
Damn,
exactly. So I was like, when I got attacked, I'm like, almost. Although, can you die? I think can you die in BT phase? Has someone tested that before?
I don't know.
Well, I don't think there's anything that can kill you like off turn is the thing. Like HP poisons can tick down, but they won't kill you.
I think there was probably some Reddit post somewhere someone died mid BT phase. I don't know if they've accounted for that, but
you just have to have your Leo target your or whatever that bug was where you killed your own character. You just got to have that happen.
Right. But regardless, I think the point we're trying to get to is that they can implement mechanics to stop this from happening, but they haven't yet, and it just doesn't feel great. Because, I mean, maybe it's because I've been playing the game for too long, and maybe I'm jaded, but I don't feel like sitting through those long runs when I could just blow it up and do something else in my life, you know?
Yeah.
And people already complain as it is about, ever since, I think, Cosmos, people have complained about how long fights take. Oh my god, it took me 20 whole minutes to beat this on my first try. The devs don't respect my time. And yet, they're gonna complain if they can't steamroll over fights like that.
Yes, and that is the essence, balance. And when one's out of whack, it just doesn't feel great. So there's a Reddit thread going right now. Let me see if I can transition this on my screen. It's the how's your satisfaction level on the current state of the game, aka state of Shinryu. It manifested.
Yeah.
There's the guy Superb Owl, or maybe Super.
Oh yeah, he had a great comment.
I hope you watch. I don't know if he watches my content now, but this is a great guy. He's on main court too. He almost always has the correct take. Let me see if I can put this on. Is this too small to see on? stream. Regardless, if you go to that thread, pretty much, and I commented under him, but pretty much everything he said, I agree with. Well, except for I don't know if I missed Lufeni orbs.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I somewhat had a disagreement about, is if Lufenia orbs... I know that people really don't like Lufenia orbs. They feel like it's kind of too heavy-handed. I do think that it does help bring diversity to your teams, and it's something that you have to build around. Versus the FR gauge so far hasn't always resulted in you having to do...
Yes, and they could fulfill that with stronger boss mechanics. Like the Lufenia orb was a boss mechanic, and fights started rolling over when that boss mechanic stopped being much of a threat. So it's really just I wish they'd lower the bosses up more. My Gigabrain theory is they don't want to have to write down what the bosses do, so they don't add more mechanics.
Well, it's definitely some kind of laziness, or they don't have the time to do it.
Or yeah,
one
or
or
the
the
other
other.
time. Barret pointed out you play 2 versions, so you're doing the same fight twice. I think about that all the time, and that's why I try and challenge myself to invest in different units and use completely different units for a fight when I can, which is why I'm trying not to repeat any greens outside of hard favorites. So in that regard, it's almost like playing the game differently. So I go in knowing the mechanics, but if I can play it completely different, it still manages to stay fairly fresh. But it's all this really comes down to, I wish the bosses were more punishing. On Historia Crux last night, they were talking about what are fights that were memorable, and Bard hilariously said, "We're gonna remember." I think I'm gonna misquote him because he didn't say exactly this, but the sentiment was, "This tier 6 is memorable, but not for good reasons." And I think I said something along the lines of, when the fights get so simple, you kind of, and like that's what I was alluding to earlier. I had fun on tier 6, even though I brought the perfect team. I mean, it's kind of a head ass thing to say, but going through the rough Lufenia plus fights in global was fun. I think I'd been having more fun on global versus JP, running the fights back and going about it differently. Now that I know what's going on, I think I'd been having more fun doing that than just kind of derping through the JP fights. And definitely nerfing yourself doesn't feel fun. Like, I had the same issue. Like, I green Ramza and Zac because I love both of those characters. And then I green Cloud, but I'm like, wait, if I use all of them in content, like, it's gonna roll over. That's not very entertaining. But then I'm like, I want to use them. And then I ended up barely using Ramza when he first came out. So, I mean, Anita, were you going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say that you know, I think that's an interesting point that you bring up about, like, keeping the content fresh for yourself. And I think we go over this a lot. I think Multiracial Lion, not wrong, plays both versions. So I'm kind of curious, because he's not been on so many times, I'm kind of curious how he kind of keeps things fresh going from version to version.
I do something a little similar. I pull all kinds of stuff on JP, just if it looks interesting or whatever, and then I base my pulls on global on my experiences with them. Oh, you know, did I have fun with them? You know, did I think that they were disappointing, or, you know, whatever the case may be. I didn't want to pull Sid Reigns because I don't like his playstyle. He's not fun to play. You know what I mean? Yeah,
no, I totally get that. Totally do get that. As a person who plays a lot of Sid Reigns, I understand.
DK says in chat, the orb sucks. The way they used to limit fights during Chaos was by damage type, by locking a physical, magic element, etc. It was limiting enough, but allowed for creative team comps.
I mean, I agree with the first part about how they should be doing a better job limiting stuff. I don't know if the answer is, like, locking out elements and stuff like that, because that also fun. Did stink. I think that the best, like, as much as I hate to say it, because these fights were kind of really difficult, I think the fights that do the best job at this are the ones that do it with more direct mechanics. Like, for example, I'm thinking about, like, Divine Alexander, if you didn't cheese it. T6 is another example where I think the hardest, I mean, people had different opinions on what the hardest part of the fight was, but if you felt the Mantises were the hardest part of the fight, well, they didn't have an orb, right? The reason that they were hard was the debuff mechanics, right? I think that is, I think I think most people will agree that that's the best way. Like, there's something new in this fight that you have to learn, and it's like part of the mechanic of the fight. Oh, I need this many debuffs, and they put on buffs at certain points, they cleanse at certain points. Now you're starting to think about the thresholds. Now it matters to you when they warp. Oh, if I have Auron, maybe I can start countering some of that damage. You know, there's a lot of different things that you can do there, but those are more interesting mechanics than, like, if I don't have this, then I can't beat the orb, and the orb explodes and I lose. I can see where people are coming from when they say that's lazy design.
Yep. Usually those element orbs or hit X thing orbs are usually really simple or really stupid. Like the range orb on Kain. That fight just rolled over. The sap orb on Ida's fight, Sleep. Have a frame debuff active on Jagran's fight, Sleep. Crit damage on Sa. How do I remember these? My memory's amazing. Crit damage on Saz. I don't remember
these fights at all, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Saz's fight rolled over. Crit damage on Saz's fight, and it's just a Gladio boss. Machina's fight, extend a buff. Like if this all comes back. We keep circling back around. Hi, Mino. Mechanics. I wish the bosses did more. We all remember what's it called? Entropy 20 fondly, because there was a lot going on in that fight. There was a lot you had to account for. There were multiple ways around it. That fight also didn't have an orb, but it could kill you. Stuff like that. And if they can't always knock it out the park, fine. But if they're going to keep adding complexity and variables to the game, especially if stuff can slip up like Cam, the bosses, I think, should also become more complex. And if they're going to take the orb away, and they have started adding the dividers to the boss's health in JP consistently outside of 6-man, so maybe that's a
great quality of life.
Yeah, so maybe that's a prelude to something. But and again, we were speculating and discussing things. What did Alphano say? My memory is amazing. Barret stacks fall off. Jesus. Jesus.
He's not wrong.
Damn.
That hasn't happened in a while, though.
Damn, yeah, it was because I haven't been running Barret. Because Barret, I've been saying on my videos, Maria is better Barret, bruh. She has a splash skill 1. She's got 120% physical damage up. She's got a follow-up, just not on her turn. Not only that, she batteries the party and she heals. Her LD doesn't do nuke damage, but it provides HP damage up and a debuff. And she's actually a useful call. Bro, Barret's trash. After running Maria, I'm in love,
hey,
bro.
I'm a Barret haver now.
Oh boy, are you
I'm sorry.
Does that bring you joy?
I used them once, and I think I used them in the CQ. I was like, "What is this shit? What's going on here, man? Who came up with this crap? The fucking LD nonsense is like, it's like crazy."
I think the most offensive part is that they, with his C90 tuning pass, they decided to give the FR to Titus. And Barret just sits there.
Listen.
Biggest bait and switch ever.
Yeah.
I have convinced myself this entire first couple months. Mino, we haven't talked about Kain. We could touch on that next. I'm convinced.
Before you move on, well, I'll let you finish, but I thought the conversation was interesting about how to make fights more interesting, so I wanted to jump in on that.
Okay, yeah. I was just going to say... I'm convinced like everything in these first couple months as a prelude to C100 and whatever they do when they run out of rerun BT pluses, that's just going to be... I'm running under the assumption that's going to be wiped out. So I'm just hoarding in JP. So that might... I'm hedging myself against pattern recognition. Maybe I'll screw myself over. I also don't have a lot of interest in any of the characters at all, so that doesn't help. And the slow rollout of... The fact that FRs aren't very... That's another big... That's the Reddit comment pointed out. FR, no, maybe he didn't say this. They were talking about it in the main card earlier. It said FRs don't add any new mechanics to kits yet. They could in the future, and they were almost there with the team building aspect of, oh, how do I make Kain's FR phase higher, run them with X, etc., and encourage team play. But now all these recent FRs are just super self-sufficient. So it's like, why... It's like building around them as super diminishing returns. So that doesn't make them super exciting either. So yeah, I'm hoarding.
Well, I mean, the promise was exciting in the first couple ones, I think. No, the promise of the idea of like building your team around.
The premise.
You could have.
Okay, the premise too. Fine, both work. But
No,
I
one's
understood
more
what you
correct.
meant, Nidre. I
You
got
had
where
to
you're
use
going.
more words.
No,
Oh no! Oh
I
damn!
was
Bells
going
that
there.
got me in 4K. Dream title: I hate hoarders. BCM hoarding. Damn. Damn. Oh fuck.
The notion of FR was supposed to be that you build around the FR on your team and not just building around the enemies that you're fighting. And you know that was fine for the
Put the
first
power in
couple
the player's
ones,
hands to
but then
optimize your game.
they made cams be like, okay, what do I have to do to team build around this? I need Selfie in my party, and I need a Kurosame call.
Or
And then I'll just
a
blow-
Rain's call in your BT unit.
Yeah.
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 It's crazy how it went from one side to the other really quickly.
Yeah.
Just because of.
So I wish that they had fulfilled the promise of that design.
And maybe they can go back to it, but they got to course correct hard currently. Which is why I'm hedging against us getting a chaos again.
And I think, and maybe this is a hot take, I think that with what they've done here, they've kind of boxed themselves in, because if it's not going to compete with Cam for that FR slot, why are you even going to pull them?
Or the friend slot. But yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
Like,
especially now that maybe like back when stuff wasn't so expensive to invest in, maybe I could like dick around with that. But now that FRs are super pricey to max, I got to make way harder decisions.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they only have two options here with Cam's stuff. Is either they have to really bump the numbers up, which I think is what Black Nero's suggesting here, or they can start like making ice absorb fights and launch immune fights, which they may also do.
Or put some some FR capping sort of things in there.
All they have to do is admit, sorry y'all, we fucked up, and then
it's too late now, because Gab and Titus and Ursula ramp their gauges by 50% too. So,
but do they do it for the whole party?
good point.
None of us have told them. We don't know.
Good point. Oh yeah, well, yeah. Okay, you make a good point there, Line. Then it does lean a bit back on the team building there. Regardless, Kain's FR is a casualty.
Yes,
I think that's objectively true at this point. Kain's FR
All that
is.
shit.
I know, but it hasn't been this flagrant in a while.
Yeah, but I was crying because I was like, he's the first one. He's dead on arrival. I said that literally the second he was fucking revealed.
There's a glimmer of hope in there. It's a good button to press near the end of the BT phase when the FR is like 2 turns left. So it's a good damage button.
I think the thing that is kind of ironic about it is Kain is a great unit who I've used in almost every fight since debut, but I haven't been pressing his FR button.
Yes.
Same.
So you kind of win there. He doesn't need his FR to be good. But that's a whole different can of worms. Like, who needs their FR to be good? Because I haven't been hitting Titus's FR button outside of his BT, and we're not hitting FRs frequently enough for it to matter. So everything's still up in the air. It'll be interesting how these things play out. But I definitely feel better getting this annoyance. I mean, I'm gonna keep fucking Titus, Kain, Ignis, and then swap out for Camfriend until it doesn't work anymore. Because why the fuck not? I got better things to do. I don't want to take 30-40 minutes on an off-turn team that no one's gonna watch anyways. I mean, I don't care about watching it, but I'm not gonna feel satisfied doing it either, because it's just taking a long time to get to the same result, and it's just not fun to slog through. It's a bunch of HP. That's really
it. Makes me wonder how they're going to balance that with. I don't know if you've seen I don't know if it's just rumor or data mine, but apparently on the next BT cycle, it's supposed to be XDeath getting his BT plus. It makes me wonder how they're going to scale something like that with FR in mind. Like, is it going to be affected by that? Or...
Oh man, that's a good question. Is it affected now?
I have no idea. I haven't tested it. I don't have any of his stuff on GP.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have his BT either, and I'm sure nobody's running him as a friend at this point.
No. Eamon asks, when is it not going to be up in the air? Honestly, pack it up until anniversary. I don't know anymore. Cam, my forecast was roughly 2 months before we can start to draw some conclusions. But Cam was the Black Swan event that threw everything out the window. I don't know. I don't know.
Shinryu plus
Nothing is
calling it
certain
out.
now.
I mean, we can't say what it's going to be like, right? And we're not going to ever be able to say that per se.
Yeah,
But we can tell you about this month and a half. And this month and a half,
It's been a fucking
if I
roller
were
coaster.
if I were a crazy hoarder in GL, this is what I would do if I were playing Shinryu. I would wait till the first 3 events go by, wait till Cam comes out, and just use Cam friends to finish all the first 3 cycles. And then just never pull any FRs. You could definitely get away by doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely get at least. Yeah, because you can just use Kain and most of those. Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
I'm not
so
getting chaos
if-
again. That's all I'm saying. I'm not getting chaos again. Nuh-uh. Nope.
If we're asking about, whether we can say something or not, that's what we can say about what's happened already.
Yeah.
Now, do we have any idea if, freaking Charlotta cycle comes around and, they make all the bosses have 300 HP and we're singing a different tune? We're never going to know that. That's how playing JP is.
How's the game ignoring Cam as a friend slot? Fights take a lot longer.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of, I think, what like Nino was starting to talk about. I think he was going to start talking about making fights more challenging for yourself. But I've been on the
about it.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, you
You forgot to talk about it, but
No, you
I
guys
won't
won't
mind you.
fucking pass me the mic.
There you go.
I'm gonna pass you right after this. Okay.
Jesus.
That's why I brought you up again. Okay.
Yeah, we
Just
were
wait
getting
1
back there.
second.
We were getting there. Jesus.
So I am on record as a person who doesn't really want to make the fights harder for themselves. I get that that's what Black Nero does. I get that's what Mino does.
Sometimes.
But I don't ever do that. And the game does get boring in some cases because you have the best stuff. But I'm just not like interested in doing that. So like to me, asking the question like, what is it like? Even like let's do a no cam run, and then once I say okay, you can do this, this, and this in a no cam run, then somebody's gonna say okay, well what about a no FR run and then a no BT plus run, and soon I've got that 103 turn run with Alpha No LDs, and I'm sitting there for an hour waiting for this fucking fight to end, and it's never ending like Alpha No did on his YouTube channel. I'm not up for that stuff.
Yeah.
So feel free to challenge yourself in the way you want. But Mino, how are you going to challenge yourself in this upcoming era?
Now, fuck this game. What BC said is correct. There's a difference between like, oh, this fight is interesting when you gimp yourself and you have to do mechanics versus like the Vayne fight we brought up on the fucking podcast. Oh no, not the Vayne, the Kate Sith fight, right? Or the Shulk one too. Like challenging yourself doesn't do anything. It just extends the runtime.
Yeah.
There aren't that many fucking mechanics. It's the same fucking thing over and over, just 20 minutes longer. No, that's terrible. That's awful. So I can understand why people are getting frustrated by Shinryu right now. But I was doing a lot of thinking, and I've actually been playing a good amount of like
That's new
other
for you.
single-player RPGs. Yeah, like I'm still going slowly making my way through SMT5. I'm playing that Danganronpa RPG that came out where you can win swimsuits.
Right. I need to simp.
I know, right? And then like I've gotten back into FF14. But what I started realizing, comparing all the fights, like why is this fun and why is Defo not fun? Turn denial was a mistake. There's no other RPG where you can delete turns, keep them fucking stun locked this long, or just blow past them with zero interaction. Like, you all have played Final Fantasy games, even on the system this game is based on, like FF10. Like, you can only get so many quick turn rates before the game's like, nah, fuck you. The enemy's taking a turn. You can't spam quick hit forever. You can't delay buster the enemy forever. And, whatever Valifor's fucking thing is, I think it was Sonic Wings that was high turn rate, or whatever.
Yeah, that was a terrible attack.
Yeah, I know, exactly. You should pay for that shit. You should pay for that shit. Like, I think it's too late, so Defo has to build around this, but turn denial was a mistake. And no turn-based RPG should ever have this much player turn denial again. Like, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Like, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, so you're saying they should just delete Quistis and Meditalian?
They can't. It's too late. What they should do is straight up make fights fucking immune to that shit. Just be like, fuck you, you can't do it anymore.
Quistis has immunity.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so they need like
That
golden
was-
frame
And
immunity.
that's why I'm saying just more threshold attacks.
Yeah, I think the
their
best
turns
counter
back.
to all that delay stuff that I've seen so far is just the fact that Quistis and Amit Italian do shit for damage, and you need more
Yeah,
damage.
that's okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an okay. The thing is, like, I think I brought this up before, is what other more successful long running games do is they literally aren't afraid to put more restrictions. Like,
Yeah.
hey, let's say Quistis' only gimmick is delay, but 80% of the fights are delay immune, and people should be okay with that because when she works, she's going to work amazing. Hell, people pull Yuffie just because she works for like 2 fights a year.
Hey,
Let's
watch
be
your mouth.
fucking real.
Watch your
Yeah,
mouth.
It's true.
Yuffie
Watch your
right
mouth.
now.
Watch your mouth.
People pull her just for that, right? Like,
Watch
let's
your
be
mouth.
real. The
Watch your
community does.
No,
They'll
watch
fucking
your
do.
mouth. Watch your mouth.
Okay.
No, you
But
can't.
but you know, like if we look at our more successful brothers like FFBE and stuff, where they're just like, hey man, like seriously, when your character's really good, it's really good, but it's only really good like a fraction of the time. And people will be like, oh, well, you know, but I want to have no restriction and use whoever I want. These people aren't game designers and they don't know what they want. I'm going to bring Ink up again. He says that all the time. Then he gets bored of the game that lets him do that. Like, no game is fun when you can use whatever you want because then nothing matters. It's exactly
Yes.
what you guys were saying.
Yeah.
Like, oh, why would I pull and invest in an FR when they're not going to remove Cam from that slot? And like Nidre says, this all ties in, gimping yourself is not fun, right? Like, the game needs to cater to that.
There's taking alternative strategies, and then there's just flat out gimping yourself.
Yeah. There's
and
taking
it's-
alternative
and
strategies
also,
to
if
game
it's
worse.
something you want to do, and it just goes down too easily. That's the problem I ran into when I greened a bunch of favorites at once. I'm like, but I want to use them all. But if I do, the fight ends in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, and then they push themselves in a corner because everyone has like a million fucking abilities now. Like Quistis can delay what? Every turn for 20-something turns? More?
Yeah, but
Honestly?
what you were saying about just more, they need to have more restrictions. They need to. That's the solution. More boss mechanics. More
Right,
things that just fuck you up. Take your turns back. Cleanse. Ignore paralysis on certain attacks. Like they reduced our held brave threshold, so we can't do the snow stuff as well. But it wasn't enough.
Like you brought up memorable fights. People will say, "Oh, well, they're remembered for being awful." They're remembered. The Shiva fight and the T6 fight. People have been talking about that for weeks, right? Like that is a memorable fight, and when people beat it, they're so happy that they fucking did it. They're like, "Oh, like I was following Pot's journey." Right?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh my god, I had to learn how to really play these fucking characters."
He needed to actually like his artifacts were garbage. And
He's like, I had to work on my artifacts. I had to learn the game. You know, like, oh, shock and horror. The end game makes you really learn the fucking master the system as it's fucking supposed to. And people are so fucking adverse to this in this community. It's disgusting. But like, you guys were talking about Lufania orbs. I think BC and Nidra, you both said you don't like the orbs. Right?
I said I miss the orb.
Yeah, we're both kind of ambivalent about it. I think that, like, again, it sometimes feels like lazy design when it's like, oh, bring a
Just
character
slap
that
an
does
orb on there.
holy damage and lightning damage, and then you're good. But sometimes it helps really narrow down what you.
I really think Shinryu would have been better if they had the force gauge on top of the orb. I really, truly
That
do.
sounds hilarious. What if they bring the orb back?
Like in a Shinryu Plus or something. So this is when we're talking about restrictions. Here are your options, or that we've seen Defo do, right? Like they pumped out tons of elemental and status effect immunity, and people didn't like that. I'm okay with it. People didn't like that. I feel like orbs are a better alternative to that, because if we're gonna take the latest GL fight of Kain, right? Like everyone was saying, this feels like a fair orb. It's not that hard to hit, but it definitely means bring some range damage and bring current enough DPS to hit the orb, right? Like there's some consideration to
Orb
it.
is don't use cam.
And like on the topic of Cam, like we said, aren't we waiting a few months before we pass judgment on Shinryu? I feel like
Yes,
we're only a month.
We're just
in.
talking
It's a
about
little-
the
it's a little early.
current things, and I keep giving the disclaimer that it's probably going to change, which is why I'm hedging myself. And it's probably not going to be fun, but I'll
I
probably
feel
be
like
better for it.
they've got to change. And
That's the smart thing to do.
I told BC that I think they're allowing Cam because they already have shit planned. Like
Yeah.
it's just like Cam slipped through. They're like, oh, okay, all right, let him have it for a bit. You know, like let him. Like we're not worried. Like because I mean, okay, so like we shit on the devs, but they're not idiots. Okay, they're not like completely fucking stupid.
Completely.
They're still,
Okay, thank you for qualifying that.
yeah, not completely stupid. Let's be honest. Defo has now outlived the average gacha game, so it's doing something right. Rip Tales of Crestoria, right? And so like. They're doing something right. They must have some head on their shoulders. There's no way Cam was such an oversight that they're like, fuck, well, let's just let everyone pull Cam and blow through content for the rest of the year. Or, I mean,
We're getting their ass in a couple months.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure they very casually just let it through because they're like, why not? Fuck it. Like, we already have like Cam wasn't gonna matter anyways in a couple of months, like, in a month or two, like you know, like
It also lived out. It outlived
line.
NT. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Oof.
So like Defo is at this point unequivocally a fucking successful game. 5 years now, right? We're going on to 5 years.
Yeah.
And so like they're not that fucking stupid that they're gonna let Cam be a game killer. And
Oh yeah, totally.
It.
If it's not clear, I don't think the game's gonna end. I don't think the balance is doomed or whatever. I just think they made an oopsie, and that while them course correcting doesn't feel great at the moment.
I feel like we always say the first 2 months at least are them testing the waters.
Yeah.
And then the real shit starts. Because like this is always how it's been too, sadly enough, like when Chaos drops, when Lufania drops, like there's some characters like Cloud EX Plus that like look really good for a while, but they're not lasting past the initial like month and a half or 2 months. Like that's when the power really spikes. And you were talking about giant HP values, like growing pains, man. Like
Yeah, it happens. And I remember the same thing happened. Lufenia, and then we got the Sephiroth fight like a month or two later. Lufenia Plus happened, then we got like Vayne Cycle and Shiva, and then it kind of evened out. So it's just the pattern again. But I will bitch while it's happening in real time.
It's fair, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not in that doomer mode just yet.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
only
not me
been
neither.
exactly a month.
Yeah.
That's why we just... I always give them 2.5 months to shake things out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at the previous, looking at those examples that you gave, like the beginning of Lufenia Plus, the equivalent, we're on the equivalent right now. If you
Sorry, not
transpose,
Lufania Plus. I think I said Chaos and Lufania. Lufania Plus was a very odd era that they gave us a lot of preparation for. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like even if you look at Lufenia, then for example, and you like transpose current JPs, like if you take the beginning of Shinryu and compare it to the beginning of Lufenia, the first months were easy of both, right? But in that second month, you were starting to get those big fights like Lightning's fight, Reno's fight.
So this would be Ursula's fight would be Cam's lost chapter right now.
Right, exactly. So if you're correct and you're looking back at history, then you're going to say, oh, well, if it's anything like Lufenia, we're about to let the shit hit the fan on the next fight. So maybe you're right about that.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not saying shit hit the fan, but I'm saying, like, clearly they don't intend things to stay this way. And then I think we were talking about right before the show. Everyone in JP, like, they don't learn. There's no intelligence. There's no pattern recognition.
All you idiots maxing out all the FRs
every
already.
Fucking FR that comes out, everyone's like so busted. Ursula came, so busted. Cam, fucking Kryl, Braska, who wasn't called busted when they fucking came out on FRs. I'm seriously asking because I feel like these idiots don't learn any. Like
people are broke now. It's actually pretty funny. People are fucking broke.
Supposed to be stronger than the last guys.
Shit got expensive, and people did not start saving immediately. Because that's the other thing that's killing me. Like again, stuff is more expensive, so I'm more hesitant to invest. those power stones will be gone
That's a good
quickly.
point.
So if I wanted to be cute and dick around like before, like okay, maybe I could justify it. But now these are expensive decisions, and that BT pity on Kain and those 1,000 tickets on Titus. If I don't use them now, I'm a dumbass. Like then they're not gonna be useful later. So what the fuck am I doing?
A conspiracy theorist would say that this is according to plan to drain all those fucking resources.
Oh yeah, y'all gonna be broke.
Before it actually spikes, and people will be like, I bought all the first month's FRs. Why are they not good anymore? But Nidre, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say that, like, you know, I think that to your point earlier, and that you've made in other places, like they need to have some challenge in the game to get people to pull. Otherwise, they're not going to make any money. But I think that there are people who like go bankrupt pulling every FR. Those people kind of wash out of the game. I think that could be a problem for them. Versus people like you and I, Black Nero, is like the situation we're in. We pulled less because we see that the demands on the resources are higher, and we're more kind of choosy about where we're going to apply those. So I'm kind of curious if this is really working out for them. I mean, we'll never really know.
No, we won't.
We'll see. I mean, people make videos of the earnings. We can always check in later.
Lion, how long are you playing again? Both games.
I started JP for God, what was it? Lightning's EX Plus.
Oh, that's a long time. When you start GL?
Global, I started Beatrix.
Oh, okay. So you've been there for a minute too. All right. Yeah, you know the trends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you're smart enough to know pattern recognition. It's just especially now that you're creating content too. And again, if y'all aren't going to Multiracial Alliance channel, subscribing to them, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Worry Chad, thanks for the membership again. Especially if you make your own content, this is what really got big to me. I went back and looked at my old videos and noticed like trends from what I was doing, and it's a lot more visceral when you see yourself acting in these patterns as well, and you're like, okay, let's not repeat that. So,
I think that you actually made a really good point when you were talking about not only is this a pattern, but they know what they're doing, and they plan all of this stuff out way in advance.
Way in advance, for sure.
And it's interesting because we still haven't seen the release, and it's still not going to happen this month. Core hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah, you're right.
And
you're right.
If we're looking at global and we look at how giga busted Core is, which if people don't realize that, then what the fuck are you doing? When they release him in JP, they have to give him an FR.
Yep. And a C90 and maybe a C100. Who the fuck knows?
So if
who knows what the hell C100 is going to be?
Yeah, if he's not going to break the game open right then, they've got to have a plan in place for something like that, where your FR is, I'm just going to do extra damage turn after turn after turn after turn, because it's going to get real stupid.
Oh,
I also want to point out, I don't know how much I subscribe to this theory, but I also want to point out we always have short eras and long eras interspersed between each other. First era before EX, short. EX lasted what? A year and a half, 2 years? Then you go to Cosmos, very short, and the Chaos.
Chaos is long.
Yeah.
Lufenia was really long too, though.
Yeah, and then Lufenia Plus was shorter, though. Short. That was shorter. So I'm saying, like, there's short eras, long eras, so, like, I don't know, man. Maybe Shinryu's the new Cosmos. We don't know. We don't know what the fuck is coming. We don't know what the fuck is coming.
Wouldn't that be something?
I thought that they were really onto something when we got that first 6-man quest. I felt better about where the game was heading.
That felt good.
Because if you look at that versus like the second one that we got and stuff.
You're talking about, to be clear, when you say the first one, you're talking about Snows, not Lails, right?
The beta, yes. Yes. Yikes. I think that a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now, I don't know if that would work then. I mean, maybe. But like the little guy, the little one, it just became immune to damage until you let it get a turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the ability to do stuff. They just aren't.
And they have all sorts of tricks. They just forgot how to use them. Like, like Divine Shiva is the only fight that I've ever seen that has delay reflection on it.
Ooh, Broadway saying for $10. Turn your volumes down, guys. I gotta do the same.
Oh my god.
You've been warned, everyone. I gave you warning. TotsuCoughing! Oh God, I'm getting worse at that. Oh,
The coughing at the end is almost the best part.
oh God, thank you, brother. You're the goat. I forgot what we were talking about.
You got to check out the fireside chat that has Broadway saying on it. By the way, if you guys aren't watching that, check that out.
Watch all the.
Just had a new episode yesterday, I think, on Jin Lee's channel.
Jin Lee.
Oh, they had a fireside yesterday?
One of these days it'll kill me, probably. Yeah, delay. I'm surprised they haven't brought delay reflect back. That's a great point. Wait, no, is that true? Sice's fight had debuff reflect.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
That was
it
funny.
did do that.
It's
Cool.
just that everyone blew the fight open, so it didn't matter. But it had debuff, so they have the ability to do this stuff. They just don't like doing it. They don't like stacking the mechanics. I guess I don't know.
They should have had FR caps from get go. It's just like how
They did.
I thought
Yeah, they did.
They raised
do
it
have
last. They raised it this month. Remember, they raised it from 3 digits to 10.
what 3 to what 3 to 10?
3 digits max to 10 digits max.
Amina was talking about like the HP damage you do as a result from.
Oh
the
yes,
like,
that
the
should have been
values.
capped at like 200%.
Yeah. That should have been because like I thought that's where they were going. You know how like armors were very small caps raises.
Yeah.
You know, like they let you break your caps, but only by like 6% or so, 2 to 6%. I was like, okay, yeah, they're doing it slow, like all the other RPGs. Then like Force came out, and it shot up to like 4
Floodgates
digits.
busted open.
I know, like so.
Yeah.
I'm like, they could have made that slower, but if they course correct, they go big.
Yeah, they're gonna have to course. And a number crunch definitely has to come. Like it's it has to come at this point.
Yeah, I don't think gotchas get it. I try to do my research. I haven't found a single gotcha that does a number crunch.
Wait, John Belmont says something really funny. He went from Toskaki to Toska killing BC slowly. And Alphino says, too much reliance on the orbs made the devs forget how to make fights. Something I wanted to say earlier was that if they're going to take out the orb, then make something equivalent in the force gauge on the enemies. And they kind of did that for the Kain fight, where they started progressively killing you harder.
Yeah,
but,
I love that.
Otherwise, not quite. And then Cam happened and everything went out the window. So just add more. VL agrees about the HP bonus should be around 250. Yeah, but it's a little too late for that now, unfortunately. Sucks.
Yeah, but isn't it fun seeing like your attack do 10 million damage in one turn?
Yeah, it's fun hitting my 145 million Titus BT face.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the video of? I don't remember which YouTuber it is. I would have to go and find it again. Somebody went and did the Divine Ifrit stage, and they deleted it with Machina.
Oh, is it because he like delayed himself and then the gauge like jumped up? Is that what you're talking about?
in the burst phase, he killed Ifrit. I think in two. I think it was 2 of his burst HP pluses.
Oh, nice. Were you going somewhere with that? I wasn't
No,
sure.
not at all.
The
I was
HP,
going somewhere with it, and I forgot where I was going.
Okay.
The HP values jumped up a bunch, and we got a lot more damage than we can do now with FRs for sure. I mean, that's the one thing that I think you can say that's positive. I guess is people kept talking throughout garbage time. They're like, how can anybody creep? Like, why would you not just use 3 BT units on everything? Nothing could beat that raw power. Well, this can beat that raw power for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it can. I'm watching Fujin's thing now.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
that just went up.
Yeah, it did.
Oh God, is it any good?
Well, the animation looks cool. Her rework doesn't look like complete cope anymore, so RVK is happy.
Well, they gave her like the C90 shit, basically.
Yeah, the C90 shit. What if they make the bosses have force gauge limit down as an aura? That could be something they do.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, as we've said throughout this entire video, they have a lot of options at hand to make a fight busted and very difficult. They can make it too difficult. That's something that they have occasionally done too. So they have tools. It's just for whatever reason they are not using them very heavily in either region.
Caius is
And so-
doing damage.
And so I think that like you know, what we were talking about at the very beginning, like our experiences with T6. I was particularly happy because T6 was a fight that was so hard for me and JP that I actually didn't finish it in the right period of time. But got the revenge, and it felt like this time around in GL, it was a lot more satisfying because I actually knew what the fights were instead of, you know, Japanese, whatever was going on. I can't read Japanese, but yeah, you know, I think that I had a better experience with it this time, and I felt like the difficulty was in the right place when I was playing it in GL. But in JP, I remember like sweating like crazy. So yeah, so
and everything now.
Anyways, my point on that is that different people like different difficulty levels, but the difficulty level has to be somewhere in the middle where it's not too easy that you don't want to pull, but too hard where you don't want to. So.
No, see, that's what I'm always fucking saying. Like, yeah, different people like different difficulty levels, so make more difficulty levels. Highest difficulty, it's okay for that not to be completable by everybody. If you want to take it more casually, you don't have to do fucking endgame. That's what it is.
That's what me in Genshin right now. I've been crying over my characters being shit, and I suck it up and try it next time.
That's what like MMOs like WoW do. They have like 1 million difficulties, like each one for like a certain type of player.
But this is a mobile game, so I'm not expecting much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to come on to say, like, I feel like I understand you're discussing current situation, but it's just still too early to tell.
Yeah, too early to tell. We talked about the way things are going currently, but if we were to take a slice of stuff in early JP at any point, it might look like this at some point. So it's really not worth reading too much into. We're just speculating.
Yeah, it is my fault that I responded to the Eamon comment about, like, when is it early enough? You know, it's been a month and a half. I got baited by Eamon just like when he said he didn't know what a biography was.
What?
We've all been there.
It was in the Frog Discord.
Oh. I'm not... Did they fix Fujin? I can't tell. Caius' EX doesn't suck anymore.
Cross says that Fujin Gauge increases HP damage in a launch by 40%.
Oh,
she has to initiate the launch.
So they're doing more launch stuff? So that they're doubling down on launch. That's
so
cute.
Kain's not locked out, is what you're telling me?
Okay, yep, because this fight is getting Tita's Kain'd again. That's what it looks like.
Just so excited.
Yes. Damn, I got caught in 4K. I admitted I'm hoarding, and the stream title is I Hate Hoarders. Damn, I can't recover from that. Might as well end the stream now.
Well, I think one thing that I did want to say about the Hoarders, like to this original topic, the title of the thing, you know, I think that it is, you know, some people did hoard through T6 and they really should have not done that. But if you are going to hoard through it, just don't complain that the fight's too hard because you're not pulling stuff. I don't mind if you hoard, but
that's what
just don't bitch about it to me.
Yeah,
so that's what I want.
Some girl's the only hoarder I saw through this fight who didn't complain about the fight. Just figured out how to beat it. Acknowledged the hoard and then pushed on. Saying this fight.
Yeah, I respect that, but unfortunately, there's a lot of
that's not even hoarding. That is that's the actual challenging yourself. Anyone else saying they were challenging while also bitching about the fight, that is not challenging yourself. That is a cope. You are hoarding. Get help. All right. So let's go around.
Yeah, I mean, you may be hoarding right now in JP, right? But if you don't,
I'm not even hoarding. I'm hedging against the future.
Sure, call it whatever you want. But if the fights start getting such that you can't beat them without investing, I'm pretty sure you're going to invest, right?
Yeah, that's the time to do it.
Well, there you go.
There you go. All right, let's go to the round table. Mino, closing thoughts.
Nah.
All right.
Oh,
cool.
Paladin's dead in FF14. They fucking killed him.
Nice. Bard supremacy. Nidra, closing thoughts.
Don't worry too much about FF14. All that content's going to be there. You only have to play the game, once every 2 years. So, like, what's the rush, guy?
True that. I still can't log in. I am coping. Lion, closing thoughts.
I think that we should all skip everybody until FR.
Oh my god, we didn't talk about that. Damn.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about
Fuck. Oh man. Damn.
I'm kidding.
What was it?
Skip until FR.
It's people skipping Kain until FR, and they're not gonna pull his FR weapon. That's what's gonna happen.
I mean, what you gotta understand, I think, in this game, in this game, Nino talks about this often. You know, you can pull a character, and then they'll become good again later, and maybe you don't even have to pull. That's not how most gachas work. The way that you should think about characters in this game is you're pulling for LD Kain in December, and then whenever FR Kain comes around in 7 months or 8 months or whatever it ends up being, that's a new character, okay? So if you care about Kain, you need to pull Kain now. Because if you're going to sit on him for a while, you don't really like Kain.
Yep, facts. I mean, if you're gonna skip, just say you're not interested in using him. Don't say you're gonna pull him down the line, because you're not gonna pull him down the line. Same shit happened with Squall when he got his PT, and everyone was hyped. Everyone was re-rolling JP to get the first burst weapon, and he rolled around in global, and they were like skipping for his rework. The goalposts always change, and the people who've been playing it long enough know that this behavior is consistently stupid. But there's that
one was actually super goofy because everybody was doing some kind of revisionist history. Say that like BTLD Squall was bad.
Yeah,
and he
was weird.
Bad.
No, he was never bad.
He had the same thing that Kain, maybe the same thing that Kain happened to him, or what Mino accuses Kain having happened to him, where later units came out and were a good deal better. But was he bad? No, that's bullshit.
No, Sephiroth was bad, however.
Sephiroth was tragic.
Sephiroth was bad.
My take on this whole like, I'll just pull him later. First of all, I want to see the statistics of how many people actually fucking do that, because usually when they get there, oh wait, no, Kain sucks. Not gonna pull him at all. Actually, just gonna save for whoever it was.
Yes,
8 months later.
Yeah, the goalposts shift.
Yeah, that's
the
one.
Always shift.
And the second thing is, don't fucking lie to me. None of you guys live 8 months into the future. You guys aren't that good at planning. Don't fucking lie to me. Yeah. Most of you playing this fucking game.
Usually it's just one specific target. Like, I remember Kais's Lost Chapter. It was skip him for the Lail banner. And then he came on the Lail banner. And we're like, well, Porum and Kurisame's banners are next. So, can't get Kais here either.
What I think is interesting is, and this is what I would like to see numbers on, when people say and it's kind of what Mino said, when people say skip until, like with Lena, it's, well, she comes back with Laguna, and I definitely want Laguna, so I'm just going to skip. If you pull Laguna, let's say there's a free pull, and you free pull Laguna's LD and his burst, are you going to keep pulling for Lena? Fuck no, you're going to get out.
Well, that's debatable. That is up in the air, but I think a lot of people will probably be more skip oriented at that point. She was good for the first Shinryu, and I think that's probably where her usefulness has ended in JP.
Oh, I just mean as an example.
Yeah.
People always do that. Always. And then when they come back around, it's, oh well, I'm gonna leave because I don't really need them. I just kind of want them. They'd be a great consolation prize. Yeah. Like, no, just
the goalpost. I think the people here who watch my channel or talk to us, the people like that, I think we're smart enough. It's just the people who need to hear this don't. that's the unfortunate reality.
My gay in the chat with just skip until end of service.
that's what I was pointing out earlier, because I'm like, what if the doomsday scenarios come true eventually, and the game does shut down, and you got like 2 million fucking gems.
Yeah, Tales of Cristoria, man.
Yeah, Tales of Cristoria. Yeah, Jin was a hoarder in Cristoria, and that shit got shut down. Yeah. So
wait, they shut that game down already?
Cristoria's, I think, February 2022. Less
than a year.
Yeah. Is it less than a year?
Wow.
I don't think it was longer than that.
But yeah,
just come out like this summer.
I feel like living 8 months in the future is a really shitty way to live, and I'm pretty sure all of you assholes don't plan anything else in your life 8 months in advance. Don't fucking lie to me.
Japanese release for Cristoria was July 15th, 2020.
Oh, wow.
So a year and a half, roughly. A 2 million hoarder guy is going to pity one banner like 15 times.
I mean, it's tragic that game is done, but I think as Defo players, we need to point and laugh at them, because our game lasted long.
Yes,
we need to bring it up constantly to remind ourselves of the mortality of this fucking game, guys.
Yes, exactly.
This can go at any fucking time, too.
Yes, it can. It can.
So that's why I really think
so
Hoarding
the people,
is really
skipping Kain because you think you'll enjoy him more down the line. It's like Nidra's calling it a different character is completely on the money. Just like LD Zack is a completely different character, and BT Zack it's a completely different experience. You missing out on a tuning pass is just missing an opportunity to play the character. So you're kind of just shooting yourself in the foot in that regard. And then the game's going to end and you're going to have 3 million gems. And you're like, damn, I would have enjoyed the game if I could screw around with all those units, but I decided to hoard like a fucking dummy.
Yeah, the most fun I have in this game is literally picking up a new tool and playing it.
Yeah, that's fun. That's why I try not to repeat my investments in either version, because then I get bored. Or what happens in reverse, now that I need to be conscious of, is if I run a suit, like this would happen with me and Noel and JP. I was enjoying C90 Noel, and then I went back to C80 Noel and GL, LD only Noel, and I was not having any fun at all. So it's like, it's a different experience, but I can also go back to LD Zack, who I didn't use that much, and I can use him in different ways because he's not as offensive. So it's just, I don't know. The people who need to hear this are not listening. That's what I'm trying to say. But maybe one day I can convert a couple people, and that's a win at the end of the day. Okay. This has been the ranting hour and 15 minutes. We're going to start closing up now. Everyone be sure to like the video. Comment on the VOD. Do I have anything? What the fuck is happening this week? So Fujin's video is out. Then Charlotta's burst and X-Death, and then Reno's intertwined Will, and then who's getting LD at the end of the month to JP, Nidre? Mr. Bean counter.
We have for JP, let me go to...
I don't know if I asked you this before, but
Yes.
are you able to make FFO tip like exportable to like Google Calendar?
I've looked into that in the past, and I haven't found a great solution for that.
Okay.
But let's see. So this month we have...
With Cloud of Darkness so far.
Yeah, we have Transcendence 10 is the next event after Fujin. We don't really know what's going to be on that, but we strongly suspect it's going to be Charlotta BT and FR with X-Death BT+. Then we have the interesting Reno intersecting wills, which is going to have Reno FR and Ash LD, Ash C90 on it. Interesting. And then, as you said, yes, the last event of the month is COD FR and Setzer C90, and I'm kind of interested in COD FR. We'll have to see what it ends up being.
Simp. Lion's the next death simp. So there's lots of something going on.
Yeah.
I mean, X-Death is a quality.
Well, I just feel like
the second bowl is shit on JP.
I feel like at this point in JP and somewhat in GL, like, if I have a unit blued, then I might as well green them. And if I have a unit greened, then I might as well pull their FR. And now I'm just a COD simp, basically.
I don't know. Right now, my stance, at least for BT unit FRs, is... Do I really need the FR?
That is a good button to press in the face. That's free damage.
And maybe I'm just... I feel burned by Kain. I don't know.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. That's very real. Fix Reno, please.
You should only pull favorites. Fuck.
Yeah.
Pull
First
favorites.
of all,
Don't play
first
them.
of all, I don't want to hear shit from you because you're the reason why I fucking pity Jex burst.
Fight.
I fucking hate
Beat
you.
his ass. Beat his ass. Get him.
Hey, yeah,
Get
I
him.
pull all my characters
Get
and
him.
bench them immediately. So.
Get him. Get his
Weren't you
just-
saying earlier, Lion, that you wanted to green Golbez?
Oh my god, yes.
Please
I
don't.
really
Don't do
want
that.
Golbez
Wait, why did you
burst
pull Jex
so
for
badly.
me? What did I say?
I was in the middle of pulling for Ject, and I'd gotten his LD in, I think, 120 Gs, so 6 pulls.
120 G's, this guy.
Whatever the fuck. All right? Look, we're not here to talk about me.
I don't know. It sounds like it is.
Let him finish the story.
So I go into the TCC Discord, which, if you're not cringe, go ahead and just join the TCC
If you're cringe,
Discord.
join the frog server. That's where we send all our cringe people.
And we were talking about it, and Mino said something to the effect of, you should always go in all in on your favorites, because otherwise, what the fuck are you doing with your resources?
It's true.
And
I
like
did it.
an
I
idiot,
contained.
he got into my head, and I was still thinking about this the next day. I said, fuck, all right, fine. And so I kept pulling, and I ended up having to pity the burst My dumbass forgot that I had the burst tokens. So
See, that's not my fault then. Like, I don't know why you're angry.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why you're angry.
I don't know if I can side with you on this one.
What
though.
are you fucking talking about?
I can
don't
accept
know.
my part of the responsibility for that, but some of that is Mino as well.
Okay, did you actually? This is I'm glad you brought this up because are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying playing with Jack?
Hell yes!
Fuck yeah! See, my
How
advice
can
is
you
always
not enjoy playing with Jekt when you press the burst button and you start hearing Otherworld? Come on now.
so
you know,
good, right?
you'd get along with my friend a lot. He's a huge Jekt and Kain fan.
Nah, I'm good.
All right, understood. All right, so I think we can close out the ranting hour and 20 minutes now. Thanks all for showing up. Thank you to Broadway San and Nidre, although Nidre didn't do anything except hit a button. Thanks to the members. Thanks to people who continually watch and support the stuff. I do have fun doing this. I was gonna look ahead and see, because this look at this. We got next week. Next week is not Christmas. I think 2 weeks from now is Christmas week, so I'm probably not going to be doing anything. Probably that might be 2 weeks, but I'll say it when it happens, because y'all know I don't be planning shit. As Lion is surely realizing. He was asking me in the server today, what's the plan? I'm like, the thread is the plan.
I didn't know if you had a guest already planned
No,
out. I don't know.
no, the thread is the plan. I do it like maybe like the late night before and that morning throughout the day. low entropy, is that the word? Low effort, low cost. I don't know. That's what I'm about. Efficient. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and kill the stream now. Thanks, guys, and as I awkwardly find the button because I switched tabs. Oh my god. There we go.
Y'all have a good evening.
Yes.